Hi, I'm Simon Craven, Managing Attorney for Immigration at Manifest Law. Well, today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about getting a marriage-based green card. If you're a foreign national who's married to a U.S. citizen, you could be eligible for a green card for yourself based on that marriage. So how do you get a marriage-based green card? Well, there are actually two different ways to do this. The first, if you're applying from outside of the United States, and the second, if you're already here in the US and want to convert your status to a green card. So let's start with what you have to do if you're applying from outside of the US. The first step is filing a form called the I-130 petition. The I-130 is the form used by immigration for family members to request other family members to come to the US. The I-130 form gets filed with all sorts of supporting documentation, including information about you, your spouse, and proof that you're married. On average, it's taking U.S. immigration about 1 year to process the I-130 form, so it's important to get started well in advance. Once the I-130 petition is approved, the next step is your whole case gets sent to the National Visa Center, also known as the NVC. The National Visa Center will collect some additional documents and information, including some more fees before they're ready to proceed. Once you've been scheduled for an interview at the consulate abroad, you'll need to appear for that interview along with all the paperwork related to your case. This includes proof of your marriage to a U.S. citizen or permanent resident and some information about your background, like your immigration history, as well as some personal documents. The process of going through the NVC and scheduling your interview can take a long time. Really anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on where you're applying. So it's important to get started early so you can make sure that you can get your green card soon. At your interview, you'll present some more documents about your case, including information about your marriage and your immigration background. After the interview, you'll get a decision, hopefully an approval. Once you have an approved visa after your interview, you'll get this in your passport and you can use it to travel to the United States. You'll get into the United States and then your actual green card will be sent in the mail to follow. Okay, so that covers what you do if you're applying for a marriage-based green card from outside of the United States. Now we're going to talk about what you do if you're already here in the US. So what do you do if you're already here in the US, maybe on another visa type? Well, there's a process for that too, and it's called adjustment of status. The process to get a green card based on your marriage from the United States starts the same way, with the filing of the I-130 petition. But there's another step that you can do at the same time, which is called the I-485 adjustment of status. What this form does is it changes your status from, let's say, a temporary visitor here to that of a permanent resident or somebody with a green card. The I-130 petition and the I-485 application are filed together if you're the spouse of a U.S. citizen. These get sent to a service center along with some supporting documents, and usually takes at least 1 to 2 years before getting a decision on your case. Many marriage-based green card cases are also scheduled for an interview. At this interview, an immigration officer will ask you questions about your case, your relationship, and one of the main purposes here is to make sure that you're in a real marriage. You may have heard stories about officers separating people to do these interviews, and sometimes that happens. The purpose of this is to make sure that you really know your spouse and you're not going to be coaching each other for the answers during this interview. If after the interview the officer is satisfied that you have a real relationship and you otherwise qualify for a green card, they should give you a decision on the spot or let you know if they need anything else. Sometimes it takes a few months to get a decision, but once you do, you'll get a notice in the mail and your green card will be sent to follow. Whether you apply for your marriage-based green card from outside of the US or from within the country, you will get the same green card after your first application if you've been married for less than 2 years. That is called a conditional green card, and the validity period will be 2 years from the date of approval. This is because the US government wants to make sure that people are in real marriages for these green cards. And one of the ways they do is by issuing your first green card for only 2 years. Once that 2-year period is up, you file another application in order to remove the conditions on your green card. What this means is, if it's approved, you'll get a permanent green card, good for life. Now that we've gone over the different steps to getting a green card from within the US and outside of the US, there's a couple of other points that are important to keep in mind. First, the process is very different if your spouse is a US citizen or a permanent resident. That is because there are limits to the amount of visas that can be given to spouses of permanent residents. Because of these limits, there's a long waiting period to get a green card if you're the spouse of a US permanent resident. In fact, for most people, it's about 4 years right now. You need to plan well in advance if you're married to a US permanent resident and want to apply for a green card because it's a long process. On the other hand, if you're married to a US citizen, you can file the applications at the same time and you don't have that long 4-year wait before you can finally get your green card. Also, if you get your green card based on marriage, you'll be eligible to apply for US citizenship within about 3 years. See, most people need to wait at least 5 years in order to become citizens, but those who are married to US citizens or permanent residents and have their green cards can do so more quickly. The marriage green card is a great option for international couples who want to live together in the United States. But as you can see, there are a lot of different steps here and the process can be complicated depending on where you're applying. Reach out to Manifest Law and our lawyers who are experienced with marriage-based green card cases will take you through every step of the process. This includes filing all the paperwork, helping you prepare for your interview, and any follow-up that might be needed. We even offer payment plans and a money-back guarantee if your case is denied. Reach out to Manifest Law to schedule your free consultation and we'll help you get started on your green card marriage case today.